Oh, let's go. And guys, we're back with the Gridsy Session Chat every single week. We're live on Twitch, 10 p.m. Eastern. It's going right off. This week actually will be Wednesday coming because, of course, we have the holidays coming up. Right when the next Gridsy Session's on, it's actually Christmas Day here in Australia. So, of course, I'm going to be busy eating too much and drinking too much and doing all that sort of stuff I do at that time of year. So we won't be live. We'll be live on Wednesday with a Gridsy Session with my boy Grid and a heap of guests as well. Guys, we have an absolute superstar, Fatal. Welcome, brother. Always good to have you on. How you going, man? Been well?
Thanks for having me, man. Good to be here.
Always fun and games. And Ranger, everyone's favourite beta tester. How are you, brother? What's going on?
Infamous beta tester, you son of a bitch.
Very infamous. I should have known. Absolutely. Fellas, it's all been going off. We've had a huge week again this week. It's been pretty crazy. Conquest, I've got the red crate all done and dusted.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah. Let's move on from that topic. So let's move on to something a lot more fun. Mara Jade. Let's start with Mara Jade, fellas. I tell you, she's a heck of a lot of fun. I really, really enjoy what she brings.
And she's good in the game, too.
She's... That's a bonus. It sure is. It is great artwork. It's very, very... The polygons are just... Mwah! Absolutely perfect. But Fatal, dude, can you give me an idea, man? How are you liking Mara Jade? I think she's the pick of the bunch, mate. I really think she's the pick of the bunch so far.
I mean, if you ask CG, apparently I'm enjoying her too much because we got some news today. I don't know, man. I think she's doing just fine. I don't think CG needs to do anything either. I agree. She's one of the best new characters we've gotten. It feels like cheating sometimes. She's almost a little bit too good, but for other reasons than what CG is worried about. I could not recommend her enough. 3-star or 7-star too.
Yeah. So do you think that we are going to get a little bit of a tweak to her kit? Unfortunately, come on, let's throw it out there. If you were a betting man, Fatal, what are we thinking, man? Do you think that's going to happen or what?
Dude, I think they might. I think I might lean towards yes. I don't think they should.
Oh, okay.
But I think they might.
Okay, fair enough. I like that answer. Fair answer. I really do. Ranger, you've had a bit of time to play with a bit of Mara action for a little while now, of course. And overall, mate, do you think, again, they're going to make any sorts of adjustments in your mind, or you think they're going to be pretty happy with how things are playing out?
I don't know why they should. I mean, you know, her kit is fine where it is. It really is. I don't see anything imbalanced with what it's doing. But, you know, usually when you see a message like that from CG, most times there's some kind of change coming. You know, if they're even expressing that they're not happy with something, that's usually not a good sign that it's going to stay the way it is. So unfortunately, I think it's going to get hit. You know, so it's disappointing. But hopefully they don't screw it up too much, because I really think Mara Jade is really balanced the way she is. I mean, she's not overpowered at all. She's really, really, really fantastic, and I think she works for what she's supposed to do. And that Empire faction really needed the buff, you know, especially with C and Vader and them. So I hope not. I'm kind of like Fatal. I'm like, please don't, CG. You know, just don't. Just
leave it.
I have a feeling they are. Yeah.
Leave it. Yeah, fair enough. In the back of your mind, there's always that lingering concern, isn't there, that they're going to make a bit of an adjustment. But something even more interesting that crossed my desk, and obviously a lot of other desks as well, is Qui-Gon. Wow. Now, Qui-Gon's definitely getting an adjustment. I'm not going to lie.
Yes.
Okay. I saw a video, and I'm sure a lot of you guys saw it as well, where Anakin basically does his AoE and wipes out a whole SLKR team. It is insane.
It did it to my JML team.
Yeah. It is just mental. He's certainly, unfortunately, he's going to get some work there, Fatal, no doubt. How much do you think they're going to scale it back though? Like, what can they do? What can they do to make it fair for those that have already invested in it? I mean, they can always give the Omicron back. You know, they've done that with Zetas before. But how do you think they can tweak and make the adjustment, brother, if possible?
From what they're saying, it sounds like Qui-Gon's double dipping. Like, it sounds like he might be gaining his own offense before he shares or something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I still am not riding that high on Qui-Gon.
No.
No. I mean, so like, if there wasn't everything else happening, I might take it next. You know, I've got Dash, I got Zam. Those two are very good. I think so you know we've all seen the videos, everyone blowing up on defense, right?
Yeah.
Anakin is like a puzzle, right? You just have to know. You have to do three things: ability block him, stun him, fracture him. Whatever. You got options.
Those all failed. All three of those failed for me when I tried. I didn't land the stun. I didn't land the ability block, and he went for bananas. Oh no!
I took out a Qui-Gon lead, Anakin with he even put a cam in it.
Yeah, you have to misplay it. I mean, you have to misplay it for it to do that. There's no doubt.
Or bad RNG. Bad RNG. That's what happened with me because Jedi Master Luke didn't land anything, and then I don't know what happened. No stun. I was like, uh-oh. Yeah. I was like, here it comes. But bam, Jedi Anakin took out almost the entire team. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, yeah. Considering the issue is, of course, they've sort of unfortunately, they've cornered themselves in the position when we're talking about CG when it comes to making adjustments around Galactic Legends. That's the real problem, isn't it? Because the issue is up until now, they've removed all of those counters, the non-GL counters up until now. They need to act. Whether it's the right thing to do or not, they've set that precedent now in place that they just have to because it would just go against everything they've done. I think, anyway.
They've partially acted, right? It's always been selectively based. So like, dude, how many non-GL counters has JML had until now? And they're like, I can't see it. I didn't hear anything. And then Mara Jade comes out. Like, dude, Palpatine with Vader was already baiting Jedi Master Luke before Mara Jade came out. She just made it easier. And somehow that's the line. Like, I mean, I will say it's extremely easy. Like, fair enough, I guess. But, dude, Grievous, Darth Revan, and EP Vader, that's like at least three. There's probably at least I can tell you at least there's troopers and other stuff. Like JML is struggling. JML needs help. Like, why is Mara, she's a new character, right? Like, if you're gonna enforce something, Grievous is old news at this point. Why not go for that instead? Or like bring something else down. Why is it her? I don't get it.
I think it's just the most obvious one that people notice. I think that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, something like that gets exposed and it's more public, so obviously they're forced to act on it. But I think, they're certainly going to be. And Ranger, I think they got to look closely. I would get the feeling, and I'm not 100% sure, but I get the feeling that they're not happy about seeing, a whole Galactic Legend team wiped by a non-Galactic Legend team the way
I've never stood by that. I disagree with CG on this principle flat out. I understand why they did what they did with the previous nurse with the true armor penetration and all the stuff that was going on because there was they couldn't do it for the long term. But that being said, Galactic Legend counters, that's what makes GAC fun. When I'm playing, I want this game to be chess. I don't want it to be checkers. I want there to be thought and strategy and thinking about these things and options. I think it makes it more fun. Yeah. And I don't give a crap one bit if it's a GL or not. I don't care, if someone spent a fortune or got it free to play. It's what the long term I think makes the game more fun when we have all these different teams and comps. It gives us strategy. Now, you want to make it harder, sure, but just because someone comes up with a strategy that works, then let them work that strategy. I don't care if it's a GL. I mean, it's just, get over it. It's just the way this is going to always be. And if you're always going to keep balancing because GLs are what you want to be at the next level, it's not sustainable. I mean, eventually the community is going to find ways of modding. I mean, we already know like troopers with Shock T just blitzes Darth Vader, Lord Vader teams. Like, I mean, if you have to keep adjusting, then it's just not balanceable. It's just, you can't keep it. It's not sustainable. And I think they should just let it go. Let it have fun. People are still going to get GLs because GLs are still ridiculously crazy. And you can set certain defenses that are still really crazy to get around, right? My Rey is always talk about. She's ridiculous. 4 holds, 3 holds, doesn't get beat, with the teams that I do with her. So mods are part of it too, but I mean, come on, let's just let people have fun, man. I don't give a shit if it's GL or not. I just don't anymore.
Yeah, no, 100%, and that's the thing. I mean, the problem is the more they have to keep addressing it, then they got to keep putting, they got to keep plugging over the leaks. There's going to be more of these instances that are going to pop up along the way, isn't there? So the problem is that now they've set a precedent in place that, okay, we need to act on this time and time and time again. They really have no choice. They're backed into a corner, and if they don't do it, then they're going to say, well, why did you take all the other stuff away? You know, that's the thing. I mean, they just have to go down this track. But anyway, let us know in the comments below what you guys think. Guys, I'm peeved off. I'm not happy. I'm a bit angry, actually. It's this time of year, and I'm a bit unhappy. I'm unhappy that the Omicrons got taken out of the weekly shipments this week. These things are hard to come by. The drop rates on Cantina are disgusting. Trust me. I'm saving energy right now. I do the drops, and I know what they are, and let me tell you, they're trash. And guys, to take the two, and it's only two. I mean, let's be honest, it's not 10, it's two. To take the two Omicrons out of the weekly shipments, I'm not happy about that. I think that's a bit of a kick in the balls to the community. I don't like it, but that's just my opinion. Fatal, do you agree, disagree? What do you think, brother?
I mean, it might have just been two, but they add up.
They do, yeah.
Dude, I wasn't shocked. I didn't even know that they took it out. I just assumed that it was still there. Like, after working on Starkiller, I was just like, all right, I'll pick it back up on Omicron progress this week. You know, I had to spend down shard shop currency last week. Like, all right, we'll get there.
Yeah, no.
Apparently not.
Apparently not this week. It's crazy. Ranger, you happy, unhappy, or is that just the way it rolls? Like, I'm
happy that they did, because I think people are overreacting to this. I mean, so here's the thing. If you've played this game long enough, you remember the Omega Crunch, and you remember when Zetas first came out, the Zeta Crunch. It's always been something that's there. And I thought what they were offering for those two. Now, if you're an endgame player, I could see your point, right? I know Heinz and, well, we're all Division 1, but I mean, if you're at that point where your shard currency is really for gear is not that important. But even then, I'm like, damn, 9,000, whatever the amount was, that's just a ridiculous amount. And I've been telling people, because I've been asked since it came out, like, is this a good deal? Like, no, what's your GP? 6 million? No, hell no. Get that gear. Are you crazy? No, don't get those, because yeah, it's a little bit slow. It's too less, but if you do the galactic challenges and the drop rating cantinas there, but that's happening. There's places where they're dropping, and you shouldn't be in any big rush. I mean, I know some of the abilities are really cool and they're nice. I mean, we can talk about the different Omicrons, but no, get that crap out of here. If anything, if it had been for less, like even say half, then I might be a little bit more like, okay, yeah, I can kind of see that kind of sucks. But for what the deal was, it's like, yeah, good Lord, that was an awful deal. I was telling people, don't do that, especially if you're getting you're working on a GL and you need that gear from the shard store. Good Lord, no. So I don't mind that it's gone, but then I can see endgame players that, really their gears, I was talking to Lucky about it. He kind of was upset about it, but I'm like, okay, it's two less that you would get now, but they might bring it back. I don't know, but it's just, it's like, even when they were offering how many were they offering in the store? Were they selling Omicrons? I can't remember the price, but I looked at it, I was like, oh, hell no. I was like, that's awful. It was garbage, so that went away. I'm like, good, keep that crap out, man. Seriously, that's poopy. So no, I'm not unhappy at all.
Well, I'm a bit unhappy because, of course, we got a data mine a few days ago, right? And this is the thing that annoys me, because it's just not a great look. I think that the two Omicrons, really, in the grand scheme of things, considering now that, let's be honest, every damn character that comes out is going to have an Omicron ability with a Zeta going forward, right? That's every single one that's been released since the release of these ones have all had an Omicron ability. They're not going to do that going forward, right? That's just,
sure. In
my opinion, that's just fact. They might not do a few, but I'd be very, very surprised. But taking the two away this week, right? And then in the data mine coming up with an Omicron bundle very soon for $99 with 30 Omicron materials in it.
That's garbage.
That is probably the worst pack I think I've ever seen. I think it's gross. It really is.
It's not worth it.
It is just horrible. You can only buy once, but I just
buy
think
it once.
I think it's just I just think it's another slap in the face. It just frustrates me a bit. It really does.
I'll say this, working with CG, as long as, but they do this stuff. They like to test the market for this kind of stuff, but, and they'll throw stuff out there. Some of the packs are really good. I mean, recently I got,
some are great. The calendars are great. I love all that stuff.
But yeah, that's why you need to, you just spread the word and you watch content creators, because we'll tell you what we think is good and what's not. We'll tell you if a pack is worth getting or it's not worth getting. So that way, just be cautious, be cautiously, not spending money. Now, if you got the discretionary income, buy whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, but this is the point. Like, I'm a spender in this game, right? So is Fatal. I mean, we're spenders in this game, and I find that a bit outrageous. That's my point. Like, I'm not whinging because it's expensive. It's just that I just don't see the value in it, and it's just a slap in the face. And while you're at it, let's take 2 more away every week, like, this week as well, that you would be getting normally up until now. I just think that's been a nice token of appreciation for playing the game going forward. Really, 2 Omicrons in the grand scheme, considering every
feel
character is going to need 20 of them. And you've got, but then you got Boba who needs 60. I mean, you got Starkiller that needs a heap. I mean, you know, I'm just saying that, yeah, we are getting them in other places. I get all that. I get it. But
these are the same arguments that were when Zetas first came out. Remember, we were all freaked out about Zetas and like, oh my God, look at the Zeta ability, and we're not getting enough. And now I got so many Zetas, you know, it'll work itself out. But I do agree with you. The pricing on that pack is garbage, man.
It should be half that. Half that is reasonable. 50 is fine.
I agree. I think that's for fair. Omicrons.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But look, you know what? They've done a lot of good things lately, and I'm not going to sit here, you know, carrying on like a big negative Nancy. It's just, I just don't think it was a great look, and I don't think
Heinz,
it was fair.
It's a holiday season, you Scrooge.
That's right. My kids don't have presents because I got to buy an Omicron pack. No, that's not the case.
That better not be the case.
I'm not. It's a joke. It's a bloody joke. No, you know, it's
you
a joke.
Come
to Australia, man.
You can hold up your phone.
Oh yeah, you could. Look, kids, look what Daddy got. Isn't it pretty?
I got an Omicron pack for Christmas. Yes, that's what I always wanted. I'm kidding, guys. Let us know in the comments below what you think. Maybe I'm raging too much, and I don't really rage. It's not even really a rage. It's just I'm a bit peeved, but that's okay.
That's right. It's your opinion. You're allowed to be upset. Go for it, brother.
Absolutely. So, guys, we're getting near the end of the year. It's been a crazy, crazy year. We've had a lot going on. I want to ask you guys, if I can, what you liked the most this year and what you didn't like the most. One of each. All right. So, if I can start. If I can start, Fatal, if you don't mind, brother, can you give me an idea on something that you've been happy with this year overall, just to start with a positive now that I have my little rage minute?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this meta right now is probably actually one of the best that I've ever seen or been a part of, with all these new teams coming out, so much 3-star viability. And I mean, we already talked about it, but like Omicrons, I do wish that we had more of them available, more choices to make, but especially like us getting competitive Grand Arena right now, like everything is just kind of hitting all at once, right?
Yeah.
Like if you think about like, yeah, do we have to wait for Grand Arena for a while? Yeah. I actually almost kind of like that there was so much of a gap. Like if you ever play like a game that has like an expansion pack, right? It feels like, we just got like all of these new teams, Grand Arena in this whole new format. Like everything just feels fresh right now. And that's almost why I was frustrated that I haven't got a real fight yet, is because like there's so much to think about. And like, I think we'll be showcasing some of the new teams. They haven't necessarily hit the free-to-play player base. And it seems like they actually might be accelerated now, right? Dash is in, Marquise, I forget who the other one who made it is.
Kyle.
Like, this will be hitting sooner than later. And, like, man, all of these new teams, there's so much interaction, so many things to think about. Just really cool, fun new teams. I think the game is actually in a really strong spot, at least on the competitive ends right now.
Yep, fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I'm loving it.
No, that's good. And something you like as well, Ranger, if I can ask you as well, like something the best part of the year you've
I
enjoyed?
like that. That's a really good one from that Fatal listed. But I like what they're doing for the community with gear. I thought that the two things that I thought were the most needed was, we've been up there Heinzies about is they did expedited characters a while ago, but now they're starting to do the expedited gear, and they're still rolling out more stuff for the gear. It's been slow going, but hey, stun guns, all that stuff that's in there, it's a huge boon for a lot of folks, including myself, man. So start building that stuff up. I still think they have a ways to go with it, but I think the changes to gear equaling now with the expedited, the double drops for the expedited characters, if they get to a certain point, I think those two things have been really, really positive for the game and for newer players and players trying to get closer to the end game than it was previously. So there's a ways to go on the gear, but I like the direction that they're going with that, and I'm hoping that they get the other phases that they talked about out sooner rather than later.
I like it. My favorite so far is getting Dad Bod Boba in the game. My likeness. Honestly, I think he's a really cool kit. We're getting a character with knee rockets in the game. Yes,
sure.
Please. Everyone's a winner. Enough said there. Guys, let's talk about the bad stuff that you didn't like this year. Let's have a quick chat about that one. Fatal, what didn't you like in 2021, mate? And don't say Corona, because everyone hates Corona. They can just go and get... That's what that can do. So I'm talking in-game here. What's the worst thing that you didn't enjoy most about this year so far?
I think I'm split. On the one hand, I think I'm a little bit sad that... So Omicrons, for the most part, I think most of these characters came out And like whether they are in the Omicron mode or not in the Omicron mode, they feel like they are hidden pretty good, right? Like, Mara and GAC, is anyone ever going to tell you that's a bad character? No. Katarn, he's a TB character technically, right? No. We're doing gross stuff with it. Starkiller feels like a swing and a miss to me. With the Omicron, he's nuts. I saw people saying that he's underwhelming, and you do not know what is coming next week. You do not want to see what is coming next week.
Want to see what's coming? No, sir. Preach, brother, preach.
So like on the one hand, he's nuts. He's almost too good. He's ridiculous in one mode, and then the rest he's struggling. And like I feel like 2022 goals for CG. I mean, that's a tough line to walk, right? You want Omicrons to feel interesting and impactful. But at the same time, there are going to be characters who end up being too Omicron dependent. And I hope we don't see too much more of that because, when Starkiller works, he's a ton of fun. But the struggle is rough when he's...
But we might get a character down the track that makes Starkiller more viable in another game mode, right? And that's the thing. So we'll just have to wait and see. Stay tuned for that. We just got him, so we don't know what the final plan is for him, certainly. So fair enough. Ranger, thing you didn't like the most this year. And I've got a feeling I know what he's going to say, but I'm going to see if he says it first.
God damn Conquest.
Yes. That's exactly what I was thinking too.
Stand Conquest. Hate it with a passion, man. It is so bad right now. And and I respect the people that I know that like it. I don't see what you see, but that's okay. This is a subjective opinion, but I can't stand Conquest, as I know a lot of you don't either. They have missed completely with this. It is an awful game mode. I can't stand it. I have made suggestion after suggestion on the same suggestions over and over again about what they need to make up their mind. Either stamina is the thing and you trying to just do battles, or you just go feats and let us go have some fun. Something, take one of those two out because it ain't working the way it is. It is not fun. It's repetitive baloney. And I can't, it's not fun. I don't enjoy it. The only reason I'm doing it is because of the characters that are in there. If the characters weren't in there, I wouldn't even touch the game out. I didn't care what the rewards are. The packs, the $29.99 pack is garbage. The $9.99 one, I kind of recommend it because it does give you some stuff in there. It does have Omicrons and some other things, but it's not a fun event. It takes up too much time, and it's like these feats, and I keep repeating myself, and I feel like I'm going to keep pounding my head against the wall till either break the wall or they stop me. Doing the same thing over 40 times is bad. It's not fun. I don't know what game you're playing, but it's just Conquest, just CG, a lot of good suggestions. You need to rethink Conquest, because when it first came out, we all had fun with it. I really enjoyed Conquest, even through the second Conquest. I'm like, this is okay. And then someone lost their mind and said, well, they heard that the rumbling that they heard was, well, it needs to be tougher. And then went like, well, if you want tough, here you go. And it's like someone just went like batshit crazy over there about like how this is, and didn't even think about like, is this fun? What's the excitement about this? You preach about is using all our different teams, but in Conquest, especially in hard mode, you ain't using more than a few teams. And then you're kind of pigeonholed for the feats for certain teams anyway. And then some of those are really difficult unless they're high relics. So it's like, even then, and whoever came up with over-prepared, slap yourself. Because that's just the dumbest thing. That's so lazy. It's like, over-prepared. I see over-prepared form like, JMK, let's move on to the next note, and hopefully it doesn't have that ridiculous buff on it. So yeah, it's Conquest, man. God bless them.
I have enjoyed the Perseverance data disc, if there is a positive there at all, but that's not what we're talking about right now. My negative this year, and it's kind of tossed up between two, and obviously Conquest is something I'm not loving. It's pretty grindy still. I liked it originally. It was certainly fun. It wasn't because it was new. It's just that it was more inventive then, and just the data disc involved just made it a lot more fun, and that's what's lacking in my mind. So that's certainly a frustration. The other thing that certainly is a bit of a negative to me is still lack of any type of ship content apart from Executor. That to me is certainly gross. The Executor to the game, we need some sort of a more solid counter to it. I mean, we've been in, the theory crafters, guys like Fatal and smarter people than me have certainly been working out some counters where possible, but it's just gross. It really is gross. I'm just saying. So we need something like Luke's X-Wing or something in there to buff up the home one lineup and just absolutely tear shreds through it. Something like that would be pretty funky. But guys, let's just see where we're at with that. But that's certainly my negative. But you mentioned Conquest and we talked about it. We're not going to go any further on that. But one thing we mentioned is we wouldn't do it. You said that Ranger, we wouldn't do it if the rewards weren't worth it, if the characters weren't worth it. Now, people haven't seen Boba yet, okay? They haven't seen him yet. You've had some time playing with him. You've had a good old play with Dad Bod Boba. In Territory War, he's going to be disgusting, right? He really is.
Yeah, he's going to be like awesome. I mean, he's super good. Just wait till you start seeing that. It's like, hey, how did they clear that whole zone of GLs? Do they have Dad Bod Boba Fett? Yes. Well, there's your answer. He's really good. But he's only for TW. But he's still a really good character outside of that, but he's nowhere near the level with those Omicrons and TW with what he can do. And then Fennec with him, she gets those additional buffs like Hunter's Mark and stuff. That team is sick. I'm just telling you guys, it's coming next month, and be prepared for TW, especially for the people that put the Omicrons on. I'm telling you that look out, it's really good.
So the other options in that lineup, are you recommending? I assume Bosk would certainly be a feature in that lineup. Bosk. I'm
still on the fence like what I want to do with that team, because the problem with the bounty hunters is they've only got one tank, and it's Bosk. And so if there was another tank, so there's two kind of theories about what you do with Dad Bod Boba Fett. You either keep your boss lineup as you normally do with the Mando and Grief kind of thing, and then you take, something like Dad Bod Boba Fett with, of course, Fennec, and then you put like Zam, Dengar, Greedo, go for the thermals with what they're doing with that and make it really hell on earth for them, because, it's stuff like that, but it's still being kind of played around with like, what's the ideal? Because if you can get two really good bounty hunter teams out of it, I don't have the exact answer, like what those two teams are. It's hard to say, well, break up this and put this in here, but there's not a final answer on that. But I just know, just start with Dad Bod Boba Fett and Fennec, and then you'll figure it out, because it's going to work pretty damn good, whichever three you go with. So you look out.
There you go. You heard it first from Ranger. He would know. He's been mucking around with it. The infamous beta tester himself has had a good old play with Dad Bod Boba. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for the video. Really, really appreciate it. Fatal, you know where to find Fatal, the playbook on YouTube. Ranger, of course. Reality Skewed Gamers, RSG. Go and give them some love, guys, if you haven't already, but I'm sure you already do. Also, please hit the subscribe button. It helps us grow this awesome channel. Give us some thumbs up. Let us know your opinions on what we talked about, and we'll see you next week. It'll be Wednesday night, US, 10 p.m. We'll be catching up with our boy Grid. We'll be finishing off the year with a heck of a lot of fun, as we always do. Thank you so much, guys. Love you all. We'll see you on the next one. Bye. Mwah!